Okay. Well, guys, I don't know what's going on. There's looks like we got some couple of technical hiccups going on here, but we are live. I'm missing a studio light. Okay, now that's just me missing something. But for some reason it didn't the show didn't start on X. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, good morning. So, here's what we got. It's it kind of is and kind of isn't a slow news day. The fact is, at the moment, there's a lot of shit going on, but so much of it is just wait and see, right? So we just had the big thing with the Mexican naval vessel that hit the I think it was the Brooklyn Bridge. Uh, I'm not seeing any chats come through. Okay, there's Trish. Good morning, Trish. Let me pull the Rumble chat separately. But yep, I see Uncle Steve there on Rumble. So I'm gonna pop out that chat so I can see what's going on there. Because chat, yeah, I don't know what's going on. The Rumble chats aren't updating in my chat aggregator, but that's okay. Anyway, like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. There's hearings going on with RFK Jr. There's hey Aaron, I see you. Jay, I see you too, brother. Um, Jamie, good morning, brother. Long time. Uh, but it's all wait and see stuff, right? Israel's threatening to attack Iranian nuclear sites, and we're still waiting to see what's going to happen as far as whether or not we're going to get involved there. Trump just had some pretty big talks apparently with Putin, but is entertaining the idea of just walking away from the whole Ukraine thing. Which honestly, I don't care what happens to Ukraine. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Putin winning anything, but frankly, I cannot bring myself to care anymore. But it's all so much just wait and see, wait and see. And so this morning we talked about Biden's cancer diagnosis yesterday, and yesterday when we talked about it, I said it's it was good and bad that I had to take Monday off because, of course, I didn't get a chance to scoop everybody on it, but I did get a chance to talk about everybody else's takes, right? And among those takes, you've got people like the Crowder gang and Tim Pool and them saying, hey, this is a big effing deal. We need to know what happened, who knew what, when. The cover up of Biden's incompetency cannot be ignored, and I generally agree with all that. But like I said yesterday, like I pointed out yesterday, the numbers on this cancer diagnosis, the timing on this cancer diagnosis tells us that people in a position to matter knew that Joe Biden had been diagnosed with a cancer that was, so a lot of oncologists tell you if you're gonna get cancer, prostate cancer is the one you want because it's a relatively easy, painless treatment compared to most other cancers. That said, it can be aggressive, and what Biden apparently has is an aggressive form which is metastasized to the bone. And I promise this all comes around to Whoopi Goldberg. And it's a kind of slow news day if I'm talking about those bitches on The View. I usually don't waste my time with them, but I saw this clip and we're gonna talk about it a little bit. But what Biden has is a form that has metastasized to his bones. Likely that is a terminal diagnosis. He's 83 now. I'd be amazed if he makes it to 85. And honestly, like I kind of alluded to yesterday, I think part of the plan was that they knew he had cancer, and they were kind of banking on him dying in office to get that first female that first black woman president in Kamala Harris, right? Because they knew that she was never going to fucking win. She never had a prayer. Nobody really ever thought that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz could win that election. That's just crazy. But check this out. It amazes me to hear shit like this.
The trust issue.
There has always been a mass trust issue because politicians, media, nobody does what they're supposed to do. Now, I say
politicians, media, nobody does what they're supposed to do. Oh, well, Whoopi, I was sitting here, Cameron was sitting here, Mario was here, and we've been talking since 2020 about the obvious mental decline and insufficiency and unfitness for office of Joe Biden, right? Nobody was surprised about this. In fact, here on the BFM, we were reporting on the information coming out of China relative to the Wu flu, the COVID-19 virus. We were reporting on that as early as November or October of 2019. We were covering that fucking early, right? In early January of 2020, I did a show where I talked about how we were homeschooling our two oldest girls, and our little boy Michael at the time was in pre-K, and so he actually went to a pre-K school. Mostly so he could play with other kids, have a little interaction, and learn some very basic read, write, really just reading and writing. They weren't really doing any arithmetic at that point. But, early 2020, I said, hey, we've been homeschooling our two older girls. And then my boy is doing the pre-K thing, and then he's going to start homeschooling. But one day I said, you know what? Here's what's happening. There's this bug coming out of China. I don't know how serious it's going to be. Based on the reporting that we're reading, it may be a near mass extinction event, or it may be a sniffle. But I do know this. I can guarantee you this. The world is about to lose its fucking mind. And so today, this was on a Friday, I said, and so today, we're not taking Michael to pre-K. Thursday was his last day at pre-K, because the world is about to lose their fucking minds and things are going to go crazy. And they're going to start locking buildings down. They're going to start forcing people to stay in their homes. The following Monday, all classes were canceled. Right? So some of us who do media shit are in fact doing our jobs, paying attention and informing the people, Whoopi. You, however, sat there and repeatedly told us that Joe Biden was fit.
There has always been a mass trust issue because politicians, media, nobody does what they're supposed to do. Now, I say, for me, listen, he's 83, so he's a little stumbly, he's a little rumbly. I can't point to anything that he's done as that he did.
No, as he's been running for his next 4 years.
Yeah. But I'm saying, I want, not you, but I want somebody to tell me, well, when did you know it was bad? If you knew.
When did you know it was bad? When? When did you know it was bad?
Why did you wait?
How about, let's see. How about this one?
The outbreak has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. I mean, think about it.
This is August 31st, 2020 right here, right? August 31st, 2020. So this is before the election was stolen in 2020, well before, several months before. And this is Joe Biden.
More lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years. COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. I mean, think about it. More lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
Really? Really?
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. I mean, think about it. More lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
More lives than any other year for 100 years. That really? You mean more than the Spanish flu? Is that what Joey just said? How about this?
Leaders were talking before the debate, who later denied that ever happened. But I am curious, I'm interested to know whether the man that you saw sitting there on that couch on that day, you were in there, you saw him up close and personal. Did you really not have any idea that he was not fit to serve a second term?
Casey, we're looking forward. We have the largest Medicaid cut in front of us. We have the whole federal
you're
government
facing all
at
of this
risk.
because you lost a presidential
So there you go. That's when we knew.
election. And is that not
Or rather, that's who knew. Everybody knew. And finally, it's gotten, we've gotten to a point that even CNN is asking these questions.
If the president's mental acuity
Family
and so
should have
should
pulled
his
the plug.
advisors. I mean, talk about a big cover-up. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Donald Trump lately. I just want to ask a simple question. Who in the heck was running the country? If the president's mental acuity was in question and some days he's on and some days he's off, was the guy really capable of doing the job day to day? I honestly really question that. And I think a lot of Democrats who said at the time, oh, Joe Biden is the fittest guy in the world. He could do backflips. He could jump into the pool, run marathons, do 100 push-ups. When every freaking person who saw Joe Biden said, there's no in hell this guy is physically fit. But they told us, don't believe your lying eyes because we're with him every single day. That wasn't true.
One more.
See, it's so blatant now that even on CNN, they're having to say, okay, there's no way that he was fit. I mean, this, where's, I've got the Truant and Unashamed pressure when pulled up. Yeah, there you go. This one's from, when was this? This was October 30th of 2020. This was, October 30th, 2020. Right. So right before the election.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
We're expected to believe that America voted for that. Pressure. And obviously I say no. Right. So Whoopi coming out here, this may be one of the most disingenuous takes I've ever seen come out of these nattering harpies. And I think we can actually take a good message from this,
I want, not you, but I want somebody to tell me, well, when did you know it was bad? If you knew, why did you wait?
Yeah, so can I get in He said that it was after he moderated the debate.
Yes, but that's not, I'm sorry, baby. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're telling me that hundreds of people knew that he was not able to do his job, then where the hell was everybody?
He did his job.
And it wasn't hundreds of people. It's not that hundreds of people knew that he wasn't ready to do his job. Millions of people knew that Joe Biden wasn't qualified to do the job. Right? The tens of millions, what was it, 78, 79 million people who voted for Donald Trump knew damn well that Joe Biden was not fit for office. Right? And not to put too fine a point on it, the 81 million voters that elected Joe Biden in a very North Korean style huge election. They didn't think he was fit for office. And we know that. We know that 81 million voters did not believe that Joe Biden was fit for office. How do we know that? Because they didn't exist. Jay says, Whoopi looks like a homeless person that gets their clothes from the Goodwill in Hollywood. Yo, okay. One of my black Republican buddies over in where is he based now? He moved his insurance practice. I think he's in Lawrenceville now. No names, but black conservative Republican insurance broker, money making fool, Navy veteran, gym rat workout junkie. And he was telling me when he was a kid, when he before he joined the Navy, he used to hustle. I think he did it for a while right after he got out too, until he got his insurance license and opened his brokerage. He used to hustle by going to the Goodwill in the nicest zip codes. He'd go up to like Buckhead, north of Atlanta, where the houses have a point at them. Right, 1.2, 2.4, where the houses have a point at them. He'd go up to the Goodwill around those places and go in and buy, he'd buy like Armani and whatever designer suits and shoes and whatever designer shit people were, rich people were donating to Goodwill. He'd go in, buy it, go get it dry cleaned, and then sell it on eBay for a profit. And he was hustling pretty good money doing that. It's like, damn, son, that's not bad. that is proper hustle, my man. So yeah. So when he says Whoopi looks like a homeless person that gets her clothes from a Goodwill in Hollywood, that's funny. And yeah, no shit. Pro tip for the bums out there: if you're trying to save a buck, don't go to if you don't live in Hollywood, if you don't live in Buckhead, if you don't live right around the corner from Saks Fifth Avenue, go to those places. Go to the nice area. Go to the nice part of town where the rich people live, and go to their Goodwill if you're going to go to Goodwill to buy some clothes, right? So, okay, I'm pretty much done talking about Whoopi, except for this. So Whoopi said something about, I want to know who knew. And like I said, we all knew. We saw it. Even the Democrat voters knew. They didn't vote for Biden. The few of them that did, they voted against Donald Trump. Their political reality is not Biden good. Their political reality is Orange Man bad. That's the extent of their thought process on the matter. It really is that simple. Whereas the people who vote for Trump, we like the guy. We like the guy because he's competent and he's funny. He's a hell of a stand-up comedian. He's a hell of a showman, but he's also, turns out, a hell of a statesman. He's made some mistakes. Nobody's perfect. I agree. Absolutely. The whole bump stock thing, fuck no. I hated that. It infuriated me. But let me tell you something. Like yesterday, when I do the real estate photography contracts, I had one yesterday, vacant house, right? So often I'll be contracted to go to a vacant house. They've, the family's already moved out, and they've either staged the house or they've moved all the furniture out, so it's completely empty. And there'll be a lockbox on the door. Little contractor lockboxes with the wheel, with the little wheels combination. And they'll text me the code. I'll let myself in. I'll take pictures. I never see anybody there. I take pictures and I leave. I had one of those yesterday, and it was a much older couple. I mean, this woman, this old man, they were old, like Joe Biden's age. But I'm parked in the driveway, but not all the way. I don't pull all the way up to the house because I don't want my truck in their pictures, obviously. And they had not left the key in the lockbox, so the homeowners come to bring the key and let me in the house. And they pull up, and the woman pulls up the driveway and sees me, and she gets out and I said, "Hey, sweet, I'm the photographer." And she says, as I was pulling up, I saw this truck in my driveway, and I thought, oh God, what's going on here? Because we're way out in the country, and people don't just show up at houses way out in the country like this. And they didn't tell me the photographer was going to be here. But then I got up behind your truck and I saw your Trump sticker, and I knew, oh, okay, well, this guy's all right. Tell you something. People don't say that when they see a Biden sticker on the back of your car. Notice I didn't say on the back of your truck, right? When they see the Biden sticker on the back of your Subaru, they don't assume that means you're a good person, a decent person. And that is a real political reality in America today. Why is that? Because you see a Biden sticker on the back of a Prius or a Subaru or whatever little vehicular equivalent to Birkenstocks you've decided to squeeze your hairy toes into. And they know that they see those stickers on those cars at BLM riots, at the Battle for Berkeley, at protest marches. You see Trump stickers at construction sites. You see Trump stickers at jobs. You see Biden stickers at riots. You see Trump stickers at jobs. It's that simple. Trump voters are not out committing crime. Trump voters are not out doing chimp raids on cruise lines. Trump voters are going to work, taking advantage of the growing economy, building a world. So that's what I got for you this morning, guys. The sentiment in the country is definitely leaning further and further to the right, and that is an incredibly good thing. It really is. So that's all I've got this morning, guys. Like I said, kind of a slow news day. Just had to kind of pull something out to get a show on this morning. So y'all be safe out there. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.